Most beginner songwriters never actually realise their dreams because they're chasing the wrong advice. What if I told you the real path to becoming a songwriter is not what you think? When you first start songwriting, it's easy to get caught up in the self-doubt, unrealistic expectations, and the pressure to write something amazing every single time. But the truth is, songwriting is a journey. It's one filled with trial and error, with creative development, breakthroughs, and plenty of learning along the way. If I could go back and give my beginner songwriting self some advice, here's what I'd say. Before we jump in though, if you're new here, my name is Celine and I've been writing songs now for 3 decades. And my purpose here on YouTube is to help you guys write more songs and develop your songcraft for a more productive, creative life. Now, you may know this already, but I certainly didn't when I first started songwriting. And that's that all your songs are not going to make it. And that is completely and utterly a good thing. Early on, I thought that every song I wrote had to be the one, a fully polished, ready to record masterpiece. But in reality, most songwriters only keep a fraction of the songs they write to take them forward to their goals. And that is actually a good thing. Because every song you write serves a purpose, even if it doesn't see the light of day. Some of your songs are just like a step in the right direction to a better idea or song. Others help you practice techniques, whilst other songs are just there to get bad songs out of the way so you can get some good songs written. But when you're new to songwriting, it's so easy to believe and to think that all the songs you write need to be amazing. The key is just to keep writing. The more you write, the more you create and work on your songcraft, the more likely you are to find those great ideas and develop those amazing songs. As an example, at the time of recording this, I'm just preparing to release a 10-track album in April 2025. But when I was writing the album, I didn't write 10 songs. I think I actually wrote 26 songs, purely to kind of decide on the best ones for the album. That is 16 songs that didn't make it onto the album. So more songs didn't make it than did make it. And I mentioned in a recent video about writer's block about my traffic light system for ranking and organising my songs. And this is exactly what helped me whittle down those 26 into the 10 best songs to put on that album. If it's of interest to you, I've got another video coming up in the future, a more detailed look at my traffic light ranking system and how I organise my songs and keep them all together. If you like the sound of that, you might want to consider subscribing so you don't miss it. It's okay to write a bad song. In fact, I'm actually encouraging you to go ahead and do so. Perfectionism is one of the songwriter's worst enemies. If you wait for the perfect idea before you sit down and write a song, then you'll never write at all. Same as if you wait for the perfect time to write a song. We all live incredibly busy lives. So give yourself permission to write a bad song. Get messy. Write something ridiculous, something overly dramatic or completely nonsensical. But do it anyway. I remember hearing Ed Sheeran talking about how he considers songwriting like a tap, or for you guys in North America, a faucet, I think you call it. To get the hot water coming through your tap, you need to allow the cold water to pass through first. And Ed was talking about how he compares the cold water to bad songs. And you have to write the bad songs so that the hot water, hot songs can come through afterwards. The point of all this is that you create momentum and you're actively using lyrics and melody and rhymes in a consistent basis. And by the time that cold water has passed through, the hot water are the great songs. And actually one of the most surprising things that has ever happened to me was I set out to write a purposefully bad song and it wasn't actually even that bad. And what you find is that once you've written a bad song, a line you wrote in there might spark another idea for a great song. In fact, something I found out is that the bad song you're writing doesn't even turn out to be bad. It turns out to be amazing. Once you take the pressure off yourself to write something amazing, you actually free your creativity and something amazing occurs naturally. But when I first started songwriting, the idea of wasting my precious time writing a bad song just didn't compute with me at all. That was until I realised the benefits of creating consistently. Keeping that momentum is now a valued part of my songwriting process that allows me to write as many songs as I do. And doing something every day songwriting related has been a massive turning point in my journey. Another way to think about it is songwriting as a muscle, and the more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. And just like any workout, some days will be harder than others. But that's actually normal, and you should just keep going. Keep that momentum. Okay, on to our next point. You don't need to play an instrument to write songs, but it could help you if you do. Can you write great songs without playing an instrument? Of course you can. Many lyricists and top-liners work without ever picking up a guitar or sitting next to a piano. But learning a few basic chords can open up worlds of possibilities for your songwriting. Learning how to strum a few progressions or playing a melody can really help catapult your songwriting to the next level. I found it's really helped me to explore different song structures, experiment with rhythm, and develop my ear for harmony. But if learning an instrument feels a bit overwhelming, then just start small. Learning a few chords on the guitar or on a piano, you could pick up a ukulele, or even experiment with loops in a digital audio workstation or DAW. Even a little bit of music theory knowledge can go a long way. When I started, I was already playing basic chords on the guitar, which was fantastic for me. But man, do I wish that I spent a little bit more of my discovery learning about melody and lead guitar and scales and all that kind of thing. I wish I'd also spent some time learning some basic music theory as well when I was first starting out. So I spent a lot of time reverse engineering the songs I've been writing to find out what I actually did in those songs from a music theory point of view. And that took me so much more time than knowing intentionally as I was writing what I was doing. And for those of you who don't know how to play an instrument, you can learn via YouTube, or there are some free or cheap apps that you can pick up for your smartphone. And if you are interested in learning about how you can write songs and make music without knowing how to play an instrument, let me know in the comments and I can definitely make a video about some of the methods that I know of. Quick songwriting exercises are just as valuable as writing full songs. You don't need hours of time to improve your songwriting. Just 10 minutes a day can be the difference between your creativity growing or not. I do a lot of lyric writing exercises on things such as titles, rhymes, song ideas, etc. Spending 15 to 20 minutes a day working on my songwriting in this manner, instead of maybe scrolling on my phone wasting my time, has been a real development in my songwriting process. I also spend a lot of time journaling, which has been an invaluable tool for me as a songwriter in so many ways. Journaling has helped me develop my lyric writing and my knowledge of language and vocabulary. I wish I could say that it's helped me spell better, but I'm still awful at that. The main point here is that you don't have to be writing songs to be songwriting. So if I could go back and tell my younger self that actually songwriting exercises are just as powerful as writing songs in my songwriting development and journey, I think actually it might be the biggest and most critical feedback I could give my younger self. Short exercises keeps your creativity sharp, and what I find now is it's much easier to dive into writing full songs when I have the time because of the work I do in these short exercises. So while I'm making coffee, I'm often writing down some title or hook ideas. And they've probably come from my 10-minute journaling session that morning. Now I know that you guys, like me, have got busy lives. It's kind of part of modern life, right? You may have a full-time job, family, commitments, but it's easier than you think to sit down for 10 minutes and do something songwriting related. I think of it as like being an Olympic sprinter. They don't get out of bed every day and just run fast to train for the Olympics. They train in many different ways, sometimes focusing on the minor details before they then go in to do practice runs for their races. And that's how it works for songwriters. Those short exercises that hone your lyric skills, your rhyming skills, your ideas for melody, just your ideas in general, come together when you write a full song, like an Olympic sprinter brings all their training together to run 100 meters in 10 seconds or whatever it is. And just a little side note here, talking about short songwriting exercises, my latest book, Level Up Your Lyrics, a 30-day songwriting and lyric writing challenge, is now available from your local Amazon store. In the book, you'll find 30 lyric writing exercises and techniques, all designed to take 15 minutes or less per day, and are either directly learned from professional songwriters or developed personally by me to fill gaps in those busy days. So our final point in the things I would tell my younger songwriting self if I could go back in time, and that is, the more you write, the easier it gets. Now, I touched on this before when we talked about writing more songs, but when you first start songwriting, it can feel really, really difficult at first. But like any creative skill, you get better the more you practice. And for me, when I was younger, the idea of practicing songwriting was like an alien thing. I didn't even know it was something that I should be doing. And actually, this point goes back to point 1. And when I realised that I should be practicing songwriting more, it really enabled me to see that not all my songs need to be masterpieces. The more songs I write, the more natural the process became. And by doing so, you can learn from your mistakes along the way. And not even mistakes, just learn by doing. The more you write, the more you do, the more you learn. And the more you train your songwriting muscle, you start to recognise what's working and what's not working. You develop your own style and certainly start feeling more confident in your ideas and your process. Oh, and the best part is there is no such thing as too many songs. There's no limit to how much you can grow. I find now that every song I write teaches me something new that I can take into the next songs. And not to sound like a broken record, but this is why I encourage everybody to write more songs. If you slave away for days on end trying to write a perfect song, you're missing out on the learning opportunities from writing 3 to 4 songs. This is something I would do a lot early on. I would have a song bubbling around for days or for weeks even, and I would tweak a few words here and there, or I would change a melody slightly in the chorus. I never actually found that I was happy with the song and could never actually decide at what point to call it finished. And I honestly believe that there are so many more opportunities to learn and develop your songcraft by writing more songs instead of slaving away on one song trying to make it perfect. So there we have it. Now I'm sure I've got a lot more nuggets of advice that I could tell my younger self. Like, don't get that haircut and stop wearing tartan trousers. Let me know if anything's resonated with you throughout this video, and if you think I've missed something, then drop into the comments so we can have a chat about it. And if you like this video, then you may enjoy this one here, which are some of my favourite ways to come up with new songwriting ideas. I'll see you in the next one.